Is Sheldon a character you have made up yourself, or are there elements of people you know incorporated in his character? The writers. It's mostly the writers. I don't know all the time what maybe subconsciously I'm bringing to decisions I'm making or whatever. I couldn't think about it too much, or I wouldn't probably be able to do it. So much is dictated on the page. And as far as elements of other people incorporated into it, I had one guy in elementary school who was really the first, certainly the first, and maybe one of the only, probably one of the only geniuses I've ever known. And he was a really great guy in a lot of ways, but he had so much trouble because he was so separate from everybody. I still to this day don't know how his mind was working, and like he would do things like sometimes he would eat paper, or he would eat bark on trees, and it was all, I guess, a version of acting out, but even that, I still didn't understand it, and it was all stemmed from the fact he was a genius, you know. They weren't able to keep him busy enough in a lot of ways, and then he didn't have a good social interaction because it was hard for him. And I've thought about him a lot as we've done this show, because especially I think Sheldon, well, all four of them to a degree, but especially Sheldon, can have such a hard time connecting and talking to other people, and probably couldn't for a second truly understand why. So that's about as much on that, I think. After doing an entire season so far, have you come across any fans who have crushes on your character and in turn have crushes on you because of who you play? I haven't run into them in life. I think there may be a couple of people who have crushes on Sheldon, and I don't blame them. He's a charming fella. But in all seriousness, as far as Sheldon goes, and I've said this before, I think Sheldon, the way it's written, can elicit almost a mothering instinct in people. He needs help. All four of the guys need a hand, you know. And it's one of the great things about them. They all have they're all undeveloped to a certain degree because they were all so early brainiacs. All four of them were, and it's caused, kind of back to what I said about the guy I went to school with, it causes a certain arrested development almost as far as dealing with love and certain life's niceties and things like that. And I think that's a real evident and understandable foible, a character flaw, if you will. And I think that's always attractive in somebody else. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that make somebody attractive, but one of them is to see their weakness and to have feeling for them, empathy, and frankly be a little charmed by it. And I think that goes for Sheldon. I think, like I say, it goes for all of them. And even Penny's character, because especially when she's with the guys and something goes over her head, typically we're making fun of us, but sometimes she pays the price for it, and she's like, huh? So I like it. We all have that, I don't know, flaw in common at times. That was Steph. I have not saying the name so well.
That's fine.
I love the episodes in which Penny became addicted to Agent Conan, and the one in which she wrecks the guys in Halo. Oh yeah. Do you play any online, massively No, I can't even say what you've written. That's how much I don't play it. Or video games in general. No. The last time I really played video games was Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was its first incarnation, not the pretty one that they have out now. And me and my sister played that some, and I really enjoyed that. And before that, I did. I managed to be old enough I actually had Pong. We had Atari Pong. Pong. I would play it again. I really enjoyed it. It's hard to be. I don't think you can be stupid and play most of the video games nowadays. And I'm not saying I'm not smart enough to play them, but the reason I end up not playing them is that it takes such effort, and there's just other things I'd rather be doing. It's not, for those who would poo-poo the whole video game genre, I don't, because my problem with it is not that it's stupid or that I don't like it. It's that it's complicated enough to take too much time for me. I'd rather work a crossword. That's my joy. And I don't think I multitask well, and you really have to multitask in most video games these days. It's not, it's a Tetris, the days of Tetris are gone. Days of Pong. You like science, math, in real life, would you believe in the string theory or quantum gravity? Would I believe in it? I have no idea. Sure, I love that we have science. In real life, I really do. Let's start from the beginning and probably not get to the end. Is it hard to memorize the science terms, and what has been the hardest one for you to learn to say? It's hard only in the rote memorization. Yes and no. I mean, the hardest part, other than, like I say, rote memorization, getting it in your head and where it's upon the line, is simply learning. And this goes to the next point. Have I ever tried to learn more about science than the show? Anytime I talk about something I want to know, I have to know, or I wouldn't know how to play it. When Sheldon brings something up, I have to know what at least the bare minimum of what he's talking about, so I know how he's applying it to the situation because he brings up science terms it's one of his great traits, but he brings up science in the most unlikely places. And in order to know what spin I should be putting on it, or whatever, just what he means, I need to know what it's about. One of the most humbling things about doing this show is doing that, trying to see what something is. And I'm telling you, other than the most cursory knowledge of it, my mind's literally not built for it. You know, it's a whole art into itself to, I mean, it goes back to what Chuck Lorre said over and over, him and Bill both, when we first did it. It's like, is this the year of the nerd? Is this the year of the geek? And we are playing nerds and we are playing geeks, but he was like, the important thing is these aren't just nerdy people. These are geniuses. We're not, these are the beautiful minds. These are the, anyway, and so my point being, it goes to that, I think, because that's why you're special when you understand, which is why I will not be talking about string theory or loose quantum gravity. I'm off the clock. Did you get your assistant position at Microsoft Sidewalk due to some interest or education in computer science? No. Or other science? No. What was your undergraduate education? They go together. My undergraduate education, I had a BA in theater from the University of Houston, and I got my position at Microsoft Sidewalk because the director of the theater group I worked with was the assistant to the arts editor of a section of Sidewalk, and he got me a job in as like a data entry person. And then the director, it's complicated, but the director moved on to another job at some point, and I became her new assistant, which was only awkward for 2 reviews she had to write for shows that I was doing. That was awkward, but it really wasn't. She was always very nice to me. Or maybe I was just good. She was always very nice to me, and she always had to write her full disclaimer. Full disclosure, Jim Parsons is an employee of Microsoft Sidewalk. But it was really fun, and they were really sweet people there, and I have often said that no, it wasn't my computer skills. In fact, I don't really feel like I did much. I think that they were kind. I think they enjoyed having me around, much like you might enjoy having a dog in the office or something. Not really helpful, but sometimes makes the day a little easier. You could pet me when the day was bad, things like that. That's what I did at Microsoft Sidewalk, and I thank you all for it.